Hello everyone, Joel here. Listen, if you're looking for a dry academic breakdown of JRPG mechanics, you've come to the right place. If the right place is actually the wrong place and you're just lost. We're diving into the absolute titans of turn-based combat, the kind of games that make your brain do the happy chemicals while your social life slowly withers away in a pile of discarded snack wrappers. Here are 10 turn-based JRPGs with combat systems so good they'll make you forget that you're essentially just playing a very colorful spreadsheet. Before we continue the video, I want to inform you that right now, there are tons of crazy deals in instant gaming, especially if you love RPG games. Remember how expensive modern gaming lately? Well, not anymore, since you can get so many amazing titles with crazy discounts in instant gaming. Can you believe that just with $10 or even less than $5, you can enjoy one of the best gaming experiences in your life? Just look at these titles. It used to cost like $30 or even more than $40. And to make things even crazier, some games even drop so far to just $1. If you're a smart guy, you know what you have to do. All you have to do is just click my link in the description below, start searching for your favorite games, and use the activation code on your chosen platform. By using my link, you're not only saving tons of money, but also helping me to support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Welcome to the press turn system, or as I like to call it, the ultimate test of whether you deserve to exist. This isn't a game, it's a math teacher that hits you with a ruler every time you forget a decimal point. The mechanic is simple. Hit a weakness, get an extra turn. Miss an attack, you lose 2 turns. Hit an enemy that reflects your element, congratulations, your entire party is now a smear on the pavement. It's the digital equivalent of a no-bullying zone, where the game is the bully and you are the nerd in the locker. You spend half your time in the fusion menu playing God with a bunch of mythological figures just so you can create a cat with a monocle that can survive a light breeze. The satisfaction doesn't come from winning. It comes from the brief, flickering moment where you realize you finally bullied the game back. It's a toxic relationship where the vengeance in the title is mostly aimed at your own self-esteem. If you enjoy feeling like a tactical genius for 5 seconds before a random slime crits your protagonist and sends you back 40 minutes to your last save, this is your Roman Empire.
You're done.
Judgment.
Pray for the ones fighting for their lives.
Imagine a world where every single enemy has a literal shield icon next to their head that screams, "I am untouchable until you poke me with a shiv 4 times." That is the break and boost system. It's a rhythmic dance of poking a god tier boss with a tiny dagger until they break, at which point they slump over like they've just seen their bank account balance after a Steam sale. The strategy here is deeper than a philosophy major's Tumblr blog. You have to hoard your boost points like a dragon hoarding gold, waiting for that one glorious moment where the boss is stunned and you can spend all 4 points to make your mild-mannered scholar hit them with the force of a collapsing star. It's basically a game of red light, green light, but with more pixel art particles and a violin soundtrack that goes harder than it has any right to. It's incredibly satisfying, right up until you realize you've spent 30 turns setting up a massive attack only for the boss to recover, buff its defense, and laugh in your face. It's the peak JRPG experience of doing 99,999 damage and feeling like you finally fixed your life, only to realize you still have 7 more travelers to grind for.
For the pride of Ku.
If you haven't played Grandia 2, you probably think turn-based means everyone stands in a polite line and waits for their invitation to get punched. Grandia 2 looks at that concept and throws it in a blender. It features the IP bar, a timeline at the bottom of the screen that tracks exactly when everyone is going to move. It's like watching a race where everyone is trying to trip each other. The cancel mechanic is the star here. You see that big scary demon about to cast universal erasure? Well, if you time a critical hit just right, you can smack him across the face and knock his turn all the way back to the beginning of the line. It turns every battle into a frantic game of stop hitting yourself. You aren't just managing health, you're managing the concept of time itself. It's the only game where you can effectively win a fight by being the most annoying person in the room. The battlefield is spatial too, so your characters are running around like they're at a mosh pit where everyone brought a sword. It's chaotic, it's fast, and it makes you feel like a puppet master, until you realize you've been staring at a timeline bar for 20 minutes instead of the actual graphics.
Tensei can slash!
Persona 5 Royal is what happens when a UI designer discovers espresso and high-fashion magazines at the same time. The combat is so stylish that it makes other JRPGs look like they were drawn in MS Paint by a disgruntled accountant. The core is the One More system, which is just SMT's press turn system, but with more glitter and a baton pass mechanic that encourages you to share the spotlight like a well-adjusted person. Knocking an enemy down gives you another turn. If you knock everyone down, you get an all-out attack, where your characters strike a pose so hard the screen literally turns red and explodes. It's basically a high-stakes game of Simon Says. But Simon is a giant phallic demon and you're a teenager in a masquerade mask. The combat is so fast that you can clear a room of enemies before the catchy acid jazz soundtrack even hits the chorus. It's the ultimate vibe game. Is it deep? Sure. But let's be honest, you're playing it because the menus look better than your wedding photos will. You're not just fighting shadows, you're fighting the very concept of ugly games. For years, Final Fantasy used the active time battle system, which was basically Panic the Game. Final Fantasy X decided to slow things down with the conditional turn-based system. It's the ultimate thinker's combat. On the right side of the screen, you can see the next 20 turns. It's like being able to see the future, except the future is mostly you getting hit by a giant dragon. The genius of Final Fantasy X is the ability to swap party members in and out instantly with no penalty. Need to hit a bird? Bring in Waka to throw a ball at its face. Need to hit a lizard? Bring in Auron to hit it with a sword the size of a surfboard. It's less like a fight and more like a tactical sports game where you're the coach and your players are all weirdly dressed teenagers. You can manipulate the turn order by using haste or slow, turning the battle into a weird game of turn-based Tetris. You spend so much time staring at the turn list that the actual monsters become secondary to the math problem they represent. It's the perfect game for people who want to feel smart without actually having to do any real-world logic.
Let the battle begin!
The Trail series has always been for people who think War and Peace was a bit light on the lore. Daybreak finally fixed the one thing holding the series back, the fact that combat used to take 3 to 5 business days. Now you can switch between field battle and command battle on the fly. When you're in turn-based mode, positioning is everything. You're scooting your characters around the field like you're trying to find the perfect spot for a picnic, except the picnic involves magical orbital lasers. You want to line up your AoE attacks to hit as many enemies as possible, but if you cluster your characters together, the boss will sneeze and wipe out your whole bloodline. It's a constant struggle of should I move closer for a combo or stay far away because that robot has a chainsaw. It's tactical, it's rewarding, and it features enough S-craft cinematic finishers to make Michael Bay feel insecure. Just don't ask about the plot unless you have a spare 6 months to listen to the explanation.
Down my enemies! Fly, holy spirits of space! Floored them!
Boost gauge augmented.
Brilliantly done! My, it would seem
Who knew that turning a high-octane brawler into a turn-based RPG would be the best decision Sega ever made? In Infinite Wealth, the combat is turn-based in the same way a bar fight is turn-based. Technically, someone goes first, but everything is moving and someone just got hit with a chair. Your characters move around the environment automatically, but you have to time your attacks based on where they are. If you're standing next to a traffic cone, Ichiban will pick it up and use it to rearrange a thug's dental work. If you knock an enemy toward a teammate, they'll play human ping pong and whack them back to you. It's the only JRPG where environmental awareness means checking if there's a bicycle nearby to use as a blunt force instrument. It's goofy, it's chaotic, and it's surprisingly deep. You can even call pound mates, literally hiring mercenaries via an app to come and suplex your enemies. It's a parody of the genre that manages to be better than 90% of the games it's poking fun at. It's the only game where you can fight a literal giant shark using the power of friendship and a surfboard. The title of this game sounds like an HR manual, but the combat is pure, unadulterated gambling for nerds. The Brave and Default system is the ultimate I'll pay you back on Tuesday for a hamburger today mechanic. You can default to guard and save a turn, or you can brave up to 4 times to take all your turns at once. If you brave 4 times and don't kill the enemy, your character just stands there for the next 3 turns looking like an idiot while the boss beats them into a pulp. It's a game of extreme highs and embarrassing lows. You're constantly asking yourself, can I kill this goblin right now? Or am I going to be stuck watching him nibble on my toes for the next minute? Coupled with a job system that lets you combine abilities in broken ways, you can eventually turn your party into a group of unstoppable gods who can attack 16 times before the enemy even blinks. It's the perfect game for people who love breaking systems and then acting surprised when the game becomes too easy.
Smolder! Aye, that'll do nicely. Not bad, eh?
Enjoying yourself?
As a matter of fact,
This game's combat system is so complicated that it requires a PhD in geometry and a minor in Gun Fu. It's not about attacking, it's about tri-attacks. You have to draw lines on the battlefield and have your characters run along them while jumping through the air in slow motion, firing dual submachine guns like they're in a John Woo movie. There are 2 types of damage, scratch damage and direct damage. If you don't understand the difference, you will die frequently. In fact, you'll spend the first 5 hours of the game wondering why you're doing 0 damage to a giant dog. But once you master the hero run and start bouncing bullets off the pavement to hit a boss in his weak spot, it's the coolest thing you've ever seen. It's a game that hates you, and you'll love it for it. It's the dark chocolate of JRPGs. Bitter, difficult to consume, but strangely sophisticated if you pretend to know what you're doing. The newest kid on the block, and it's already acting like it owns the place. Expedition 33 takes the waiting around out of turn-based combat by making it reactive. You choose your attacks from a menu like a civilized human, but when the enemy attacks, the game turns into an action thriller. You have to manually dodge, parry, and jump in real time. If you miss a parry, you take massive damage. If you nail it, you look like a legend. It's the perfect solution for people with the attention span of a goldfish who usually get bored during the enemy's turn. You can't just go make a sandwich while the boss does his ultimate mega flare animation. You have to stay glued to the screen or you'll find your party in the game over screen faster than you can say Belle Epoque. It's beautiful, it's tense, and it finally answers the question, what if Final Fantasy and Dark Souls had a very stressful baby? It's the future of the genre, or at least the future of me breaking my controller because I mistimed a jump.
Watch out, Minnow.
Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I know that there are other games that I haven't mentioned yet, so how about sharing your favorites that probably deserve the spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace.
Boost gauge